Hello, dear friends. I hope you can see me clearly enough in this early morning light. I don't really like having lights on in the early morning. I like the dawn to just gradually appear. So I've just got this very bright looking candle in front of the Buddha. So I want to talk today about connection, which I've talked about before, but there's always more to say. And I'm going to start by talking about this red thread that I have. So this thread was given to me by a member of the Triratna order who died maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember exactly when. And he received it from Dado Tulku, who is a young Tibetan Buddhist, and he's a reincarnation of Dado Rinpoche. Dado Rinpoche is in the picture behind me, just here. I never met Dado Rinpoche, but I've always had a great deal of devotion and respect for him because of his life and work. His teaching and his example, his teaching through his example, really. And through Dado Rinpoche, of course, there's a strong connection with Sangha, my own teacher. In fact, it's through Sangha that I ever heard of Dado Rinpoche in the first place. So this red thread brings about a number of connections. It connects me with the order, it connects me with Dado Rinpoche, it connects me with Sangha, and through their practice and their connections, it connects me with the whole lineage of the Buddhist tradition, going right back to the time of the Buddha himself. So there's this huge network, really, of connections that all sparked off by this red thread. We all build our own connections in the Sangha. And yesterday we had a short event on Zoom where we invited people from the Norwich Sangha to join us. It was Sangha Day, and some people in the local Sangha had created some offerings, visual and sound offerings and words. And so we came together at midday to appreciate these offerings. There were quite a lot of us here actually, which was great, really, really good. And it was a very moving occasion actually. For me, I really just enjoyed seeing a lot of people who I love. They're really important parts of my life. We've shared a lot together. We've practiced a lot together. And for many people, I think yesterday was a moving occasion. Some people were moved to tears. A few people emailed me afterwards and said, what a moving experience it was. And I particularly enjoyed creating the mantra offerings because I got to hear people's individual voices that I knew, some that I knew very, very well, and putting those together into the mantra mix that we heard. That's going to be on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to find that and hear that. Might already be there, I'm not sure. So we have these very strong Sangha connections, don't we? We connect with each other, we support each other in our practice, we support each other in our lives. This very precious thing is something we should really cherish. And I'm thinking about the current restrictions. We're kind of in lockdown, but just moving out of complete lockdown into, in this area, Tier 2. which means there are restrictions on our lives, but not complete restrictions. But we just have to be careful and take responsibility, I think, don't we? So maybe some of us are still feeling isolated because we can't get out and about and see our friends in the normal kind of way. But we can see some people, as long as we take care, we can see people outside. But maybe we're doing some isolating things like working at home, and maybe that's on the one hand quite nice because you don't have to go anywhere, but on the other hand it can be a bit isolating. Or maybe you're not working at home, but you're going off on retreat. Maybe you're going off on a solitary retreat, or maybe you're doing a solitary retreat at home. But whatever activities you're doing, whether it's working or being on retreat, if those are things that you're doing by yourself, then maybe you experience a certain degree of isolation or separateness. So it's more important than ever that we maintain these connections. Sometimes often when I feel strongly connected with the Sangha, or just strongly connected with other people, it's like I'm connected with the, what could we say, the lifeblood. The lifeblood that that keeps us alive and keeps everybody alive. The Sangha jewel is red, isn't it? This thread is red. It's the colour of blood. So we need to keep in touch with the lifeblood of our connections. Those are what keep us going. So whatever isolating activities you're doing, keep the Buddha in your heart. Keep any of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in your heart. Keep your teachers in your heart. And keep your Sangha connections in your heart, those that are close to you. Keep them there in your heart and cherish them. And then things will be okay. Things will be fine. It doesn't mean that your experience will always be joyful, but it means that whatever arises will actually be okay. We don't need to worry. If we're practicing and we're on the path, and if we keep these connections in mind, then we'll keep them in our hearts, keep them alive, cherish them. Then underneath our surface experience of pleasure or pain or neutrality, underneath all that there's going to be the potential for joy, or the potential at least to be okay with what's happening. And at times it might even manifest as joy. So make the most of that. I don't mean hang on to it, but cherish it while it's there. And by doing these things, by keeping our connections strongly in mind, then we get to a point where our suffering is not just our own suffering, and our joy is not just our own joy. So your suffering is my suffering. Your joy is my joy. I don't mean that selfishly that I grab onto it and have it for myself. I just mean that it's a sharing. It's like a great participation. A great participation, that's what it is that we're doing. It's not just about our individual growth and development. I think it's much greater than that. The Sangha connection to the three jewels. It's greater than that. We're all participating in this great journey, this great enterprise. We need not suffer by ourselves if only we can connect. We're all in this together. That's what we need to remember. I don't just mean that we're all in this massive suffering together. I mean that we're all in this great enterprise together. our sufferings, our joys, whatever we're experiencing, they're not just mine, they're not just ours, they're like a participation, a sharing. We partake in it all. This is going to be my last video talk of 2020 because I'm going to take a break throughout December from Buddhist Centre activities. I need a bit of refueling. I need to pay attention to some other things in my life. But I'll be back in January. And during this month, I'll keep connected. I'll think of as many of my friends, well, all of them. I'll keep thinking of them. I'll keep them in my heart, and I'll keep the teachers and the Buddhas in my heart. And although I won't be teaching, I'm not separating. I'm not wanting to not have contact. I'm not having a strict solitary retreat or anything. So I will still be keeping in touch with some of you on an individual basis. So have a good month. Remember that we're all in this together, and I'll see you. Hopefully I'll have another offering for you in January.